If you remember, don't mind this. This is a gun that came in pieces, and I'm working on it, and that's another video in itself. But I did work on this gun on an earlier video, and found that when I took it apart, the springs were no good. The gentleman was having a problem with it functioning properly, and the bullets, if you've seen the video, some were dented. They were definitely not seated properly. So first thing I did was I got some new bullets and a new spring kit, and I always make sure, like usual, repetitive, make sure it's empty. So what I did with this gun was order a new spring kit for it. And in the process of ordering the spring kit, I took it all down, obviously cleaned it all back up, lubed everything up, put the new spring kit in, took it outside to fire it, and this hammer would only go down not quite to the spring. It was going about that far, if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. That's far down it would go. And if there's one thing you know, is that you pull the trigger on a gun and that bolt don't go off, it's a tense moment. It's a tense moment. So you just kind of keep the gun in a safe position facing away from you, and hold on to it fairly tight, and just give it 10, 15, 20 seconds to make sure nothing's going off, and then drop your clip, cycle it out, and look at the bullet and see what happens. See if, the primer just didn't work out in that particular bullet, or even if the firing pin hit the primer on the bullet. So when I pulled it out and looked, the firing pin never touched it. So I tried it one more time, and sure enough, it didn't do it. So I brought it back in and took it apart, and I found that the firing pin spring was binding up. This is a brand new one right out of the package. That one was binding up. So I had another one laying around from another package, took it out, put it in, and sure enough, that fixed that problem. And then once I did that, the gun tried to cycle, and it just didn't happen. So took it apart again, ordered a whole new spring kit all the way around. So I'm thinking I got the wrong one, and sure enough, put the spring in for the action, and the one that activates the hammer. And after that, things worked fine, worked great. So that's why you shoot things before you give them to your customers, to make sure everything is good and everything's done right. And that, I mean, you'd have to feel pretty stupid to send that gun home to a guy that trusts you to do the work, and then when he goes to shoot it, it just doesn't happen. And then you got to bring it in and tell him the spring kit you put in is no good. You need to order another one. Like you shouldn't have known that when you should have known that when you did the job. So that's the gun, working good now. I'm just waiting for the customer to pick it up, and then we'll get with this one. Still working on it. I just made the pins the other day for it. That was what I was waiting to do, and we'll get on that, and I'll get down the rabbit hole with that one. So there you go, all ready to go. That's why you check your stuff, and please just be safe. Again, if you have if the bullet doesn't fire, just keep the gun in a safe direction for a little while, just in case it's a slow burning primer. Doesn't happen real often, but it can happen. So keep safe out there, keep shooting, and have a great day.